Jesus talked about this tendency. This is the first, if you're doing it, you're not the first person ever to do it. He talks about this in Matthew 23. Actually, he's condemning the Pharisees, the religious people of that time, for what they did. And he says this. Look what he says. Blind guides who strain out a gnat and swallow a camel. I love his words. Blind. You're blind. See, you're not seeing right. You're straining a gnat. And what he's referring to is they would pour wine over a filter to strain out anything that was in it. Like gnats, little bugs. Now that sounds disgusting to us today, but this is a different culture and a different time. They would strain out that gnat. They would go to so much trouble to get the smallest thing out, to find it, notice it, pull it out. But they would do that, and then they would swallow an entire camel. It's a metaphor. He's saying that you're paying so much attention to all these little bitty details, but you're missing the point. He gives an example. For you pay tithe of mint and anise and cumin, and have neglected the weightier matters of the law, justice and mercy and faith. So what is he saying? He's saying you're so focused on these little details. And in this case, he's not condemning them keeping those details. But what he's saying is, you're missing the most important things by focusing on this minutia, the weightier matters of the law, weightier matters. Now let's have a weightier matters quiz. I'm going to try and help you spot your tendency to focus on things that are not weighty in the church. Let's look at this. Here's a quiz. You tell me which one of these is the most important. The preacher's tattoo or his words? The preacher's tattoo or his words? What's the weightier matter there? His words, not his tattoo. The type of music or the souls saved? Let's say that we started a church plant that played heavy metal Christian, and eventually in this series on Baptist revival I'm going to talk about music. Let's say it was heavy metal to Christian lyrics, but people were being saved. Would you say that the music is the bigger problem? Or is it the souls saved? Of course it's the souls saved, but I know some of you are having a real hard time with me saying heavy metal Christian music is godly. How about that? Wow. I know that hurts. You don't like that, do you? The comfort of members or the comfort of guests? Is it most important that our members, our guests feel comfortable in the sanctuary in terms of temperature, or our members? Of course, our guests. The young lady's short dress or her attendance? Let's say we've got a lost young lady. She comes in and she's dressed inappropriately. She's got a short dress on. It's tight and short. Don't tell me it doesn't happen in the church. Don't tell me it doesn't happen in traditional Baptist churches. It does. So much of the time people will get upset and confront this young lady about her dress, and they will forget about the most important thing is that she's there hearing the word, and her dress is secondary. The money in the bank or the ministry being done. Of course, the ministry. Who cares about the money? You can't take the money with you, friends. You won't be judged on that. You're going to be judged on what you do with the ministry. So what are weightier matters? Let me just briefly hit on some principles for you for understanding what the weightier matters of Christianity are, the things that we need to be focusing on. Number one, things that are related to the progress in the church's overall mission and ministry. We need to be focused on what we're supposed to be doing, what Jesus has given us to do. And a few months ago, I did a session, and it's actually on my YouTube channel, the Pew Sitters Seminary YouTube channel. I did a session on the 7 pillars or purposes of the church. Now, I'm not going to go through all of these with you now, but the 7 pillars help to represent the things that are the church's mission, and therefore these things are paramount. They're the most important. Prayer, provision for our members, teaching, standing for truth, doing mercy work to the poor, being salt and light to the culture, and doing evangelism. Those are the first things. Those are the most important things that we need to be focusing on. Those are the weightier matters of our faith. And then secondly, things that center on the heart and not on the exterior or outward issues. Take the young lady who's dressed inappropriately. I'm not saying that it's righteous to dress inappropriately. I'm quite critical of that because the Bible does talk about the dress of a harlot. However, what we have to keep in mind is that the outward manifestation of dress reflects a heart issue. It's not the dress that's the problem, it's the heart. So if you had someone who came into your congregation, instead of confronting them and basically throwing them out, what you should do is pray for a change in their heart. Pray for them. That's the weightier matter. And then finally, place people first and processes and procedures second. Now, that doesn't mean that we don't try to improve our processes, that we don't try to perfect our procedures. We do things with excellence. We strive to do things very, very well for the Lord. But when it comes to those things versus people, we're not going to go condemn someone for missing a process or a procedure, because the person is more important than the process or the procedure. So those are examples, those are principles that you can use to determine weightier matters.